My name is Teresita, Blanco, Artsy Sister. We're continuing with the Lovers Pentacle 2, Chapter 2, Ace of Wands. Kain went home with his homework, and he was the proud owner of a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Kendall. The house was painted a humble lime green, punctuated by wide impact windows. The interior had an open floor plan with a living room, kitchen, and dining room seamlessly flowing into one another. There was a couch right at the entrance, and behind it was an abstract cityscape with bicycle wheels. On the one wheel had a Cuban flag stretched over it. Carina had given Kain this painting as a housewarming present, and sitting on the couch watching TV was Kain's father, Jack. The two had recently reconnected, and now Jack lived with his estranged son. Jack was a failed guitarist who sold used cars for a living. He had gotten the job thanks to his sponsor, a failed drummer. All they needed was a failed vocalist in order to complete their loser band. At the age of 34, Jack resembled a walking skeleton. From his father, he had inherited the dispassionate black eyes. Jack was starting to grow his raven hair for the stage, and Ayuda had pressured Jack into performing at least once a week. Resting over Jack's lap was his electric guitar. He was practicing his finger eight technique while watching the presentation of a show he liked. He was trying to backwards engineer the song. Kain, if you can get me the music sheet of the presentation, it will really save me a lot of guesswork, said Jack. You still watch cartoons, Dad? Asked Kain, sitting beside his father. So do you, and I don't shame you for it, protested Jack with a whiny tone in his voice. I didn't mean anything bad by it, I was just surprised, said Kain. Do you have any plans for tonight? Asked Jack. If not, we can have a pizza party. I'm going out with Eugenia around 9, said Kain, so we can still have that pizza party. Take lots of photos, said Jack, so I can live vicariously through you, my son. You should go out as well, Dad. You needn't spend the rest of your life alone, said Kain. You get used to it, said Jack, growing somber. So what do you do when that old itch returns? Asked Kain. I do a hooker, joked Jack. Jack suffered from chronic depression, and it was rare for him to be in a good mood, and most of the time he was just going through the motions, and as of lately the scene that would put a smile on his face was seeing the photos of his son partying with Eugenia. Father and son had a pizza party, and afterwards Kain showered and he perfumed himself in preparation for his date. Jack looked through his son's closet before asking, What type of venue are you going to? I don't know. Eugenia says it's a surprise, said Kain. So informal? Asked Jack, showing a random outfit. I think, let me text her, and said Kain before texting Eugenia. Do I wear formal or informal clothing? Semi-formal, tested Eugenia. Dad, what is considered semi-formal? Asked Kain. Jeans and a nice button-up shirt, said Jack. Here's a good shirt, and the price tag is still there. Why haven't you worn it yet? I forgot it was even there, said Kain. It blended in with the other ensemble. You need to lighten up your attires, Kain, said Jack, looking at Kain's black and blue shirts. Shopping for clothing is not really my thing, said Kain while putting on the guayabera. Shopping for clothing reminded Kain of his dead mother, Bella, so he avoided it as much as possible. He wore his guayabera with blue jeans. He fixed his hair the way Eugenia liked, and once he felt presentable, he went outside to wait for his girlfriend. Around 9, Kain saw Eugenia's limousine over the horizon. Kain loved that his girlfriend was always punctual, and he jumped into the limousine and both took a selfie using Kain's digital camera. The two shared a sweet kiss, and Eugenia snuggled against Kain to enjoy his sweet, tender caresses. Eugenia was a ginger-haired rich heiress, and she had the skinny body of a fashion model, a pasty face covered in freckles, and large, expressive brown eyes. Like her father, she was always looking for a new thrill, and when she had tried to use in front of Kain, the poor guy had bawled his eyes out, and that was the first time Eugenia had seen a grown man cry. Kain told Eugenia about his father's former addiction, and now Eugenia only took him microdosages when Kain wasn't looking at her. The two rode together in silence while they enjoyed each other's warmth, and Kain was the first of Eugenia's boyfriend to provide physical affection without having it devolve into seduction. and every so often the eyes of the driver would wander away from the road, and he was curious to see if Kain and Eugenia got busy. It didn't always happen, so the driver was always in suspenseful anticipation. "I had never asked you for anything, Eugenia," said Kain sternly. "There is a first time for everything," said Eugenia, lowering her eyes. She was expecting for Kain to ask her for money. All men asked her for money. The fact that he held out for so long was commendable. My friend Jeremy needs a job, and he doesn't have a degree, and without connection it has been difficult for him to get a job," said Kain. "What are his prior work experiences?" asked Eugenia in full interview mode. "He worked at a restaurant cleaning dishes," said Kain, "and he had to leave the job because his manager used to beat him. Do you remember the story about that manager that got arrested for assault with a deadly plate? The victim was my friend Jeremy." "Oh yeah," said Eugenia, rattling her memory. "I think I remember seeing that on the news. Your Jeremy is a guy that looks like Nefertiti." "Yes, so can you help him, Eugenia?" said Kain. "He doesn't mind working for minimum wage, though if you can pay him $2 over that, it will really help his brother Siddhanta shoulder some of the bills of the house." "I will find something for him," said Eugenia, smiling happily, and she was relieved that Kain hadn't asked her for money. "Oh look, here we are." Both went inside a building whose facade resembled a warehouse, and once within, Kain saw that Eugenia had taken him to an art studio. The studio was being shared by 7 artists, and the artists and their friends were in the middle partying. There was a wall with a canvas row spread across it, and the host was encouraging the visitors to express themselves with the art supplies he had provided. Kain recognized the host as his art teacher, Sebastiano Clement. Sebastiano smiled, seeing his former pupil roaming his studio. He was in his late 40s, and he had recently divorced due to an infidelity. After being thrown out of his house, he now slept in his studio. "Kay, I haven't seen you in years," said Sebastiano, coming over to shake Kain's hand. "It's nice to see you too again, Mr. Clemens. Are you still teaching?" asked Kain. "Not since my art career took off," lied Sebastiano, smiling happily. "Better late than never, am I right?" "I guess," said Kain, laughing shyly. "Let's make some art, Kay," said Sebastiano, giving his former studio a bucket with water balloons filled with acrylic paint. Kain and Eugenia threw balloons at the wall, making a spectacular mess reminiscent of a Jackson Pollock painting. Eugenia took a brush to add black daisies into her artwork, and Kain felt Sebastiano silently judging him, and he remembered how much he used to hate it whenever his teacher would loom over his shoulder. The last time Kain handled a brush was in high school, and after he graduated he only bothered to draw with a number 2 pencil on print paper. He got both for free from the office. Kain was afraid of being homeless, and this fear had turned him into an old miser. Kain tried to ignore the judgmental gaze of his former teacher, and he started with an oval shape before rendering the eyelashes. Kain always started with the eyes before rendering the rest of the face, and he painted Marlene with black and white acrylics, and due to his forensic training he had gotten good at rendering faces. "Why did you paint a sad little girl?" asked Sebastiano, intrigued. "I just painted the first thing that came to my mind," said Kain, taking a step back. "Interesting," said Sebastiano, raising an eyebrow. "She's a little girl I saved from drowning," said Kain. "I think about her from time to time." "So that explains the little girl. As for your technique, you hesitate a lot between each brushstroke, and the way you dab makes me think that it is your first time using a paintbrush," criticized Sebastiano. "When was the last time you painted something?" "The last time I held a brush was when our class made that school mural," said Kain. "It's still there." "They painted over it. The new administration didn't have love for my artistic vision," said Sebastiano dryly. Cosina took plenty of pictures of the mural. Sebastiano went to critique other people's work, and Kain looked at his painting without much enthusiasm. He positively hated it, and just when he was most distracted, Eugenia threw him a balloon filled with paint, and the yellow paint completely stained through his black shirt, thus completely ruined it. Eugenia giggled proud of her little prank, and Kain responded in kind, and the two got into a paint fight, completely bathing in all of the colors of the rainbow, and Eugenia stopped when she accidentally splattered poor Marlene's face. "I'm sorry, Kain, I ruined your little girl painting," said Eugenia, trying to wipe away the blue paint that had splattered over Marlene's eyes. "Leave it," said Sebastiano, rushing back. "You actually improved it." The blue that had splattered over Marlene was quite transparent, and the underpaint and the black lines were still noticeable. Eugenia, proud of her handiwork, washed her hands before digging up Kane's camera. The camera has miraculously survived the paint fight. The two posed in front of the work of art they had made before seeing what other activities the artist party had to offer. Eugenia met up with her other university friends, and she wanted to integrate Kain into her social circle. And she had already got along with Kain's friends, so she figured that he wouldn't have a problem getting along with her pals. Guys, I wanted you to formally introduce my new boyfriend, Kain Sanson, said Eugenia. If he seems a little distant, it is because he's shy, and once he relaxes, you will see what a great guy he truly is. Kain shook hands with all of Eugenia's friends, and he brushed back the wet paint that was falling over his side. And when he did, one of Eugenia's friends recognized him. Hey, I remember you. You are that psychopath that gave me a beating before sending me to prison, yelled Santiago, pointing at Kain's gray eyes. Santiago and Eugenia were childhood friends, and the two made it sometimes, but their relationship never evolved. Santiago habitually borrowed money from Eugenia while conveniently forgetting to pay it back. And Eugenia suspected that Santiago was only pretending to be her friend to see what scraps fell from her table. And Santiago was simply a scatterbrain, and he suspected that Eugenia never dated him because he was poor. He was a brunette with honey-colored skin, a strong jaw, and a mustache for the ladies. He was beefier than Kain since he did steroids, and he was still peeved at getting a beating from a man that he perceived as weaker than himself. You attacked first. I stood my ground, said Kain dryly. I only attacked because Eugenia was screaming for help, said Santiago. Oh, that's right. I had forgotten about that night, said Eugenia, giggling. It was all my fault, really. I overreacted to a simple query, and you know how jumpy I get when I do acid. You were going to trick me into drinking acid, Eugenia, asked Kain with a whippy tone to his voice, and he almost looked like he was about to cry. I'm sorry, alright? That was a long time ago. I didn't know you. Okay, I just assumed that you like to run with the wild horses because of the way you dress, said Eugenia, exasperated. Must I spend the rest of my life apologizing for one simple mistake? It's fine, Eugenia, I forgive you, said Kain, hugging his girlfriend to reassure her of their bond. It is all water under the bridge. The rest of the introduction went without a hitch, and the friends did a little graffiti while they drank beer. Santiago drank too much, while Kain drank very little. Kain did his first graffiti work, and Eugenia insisted that Kain choose the words, and after rattling his brain, Kain chose the words, I did not do it on purpose. And Eugenia found the phrase hilarious, and the couple took photographs with their finished work. A pig doing graffiti, now I have seen it all, retorted an extremely hostile Santiago. We are trying to have a fun time, hissed Eugenia, stomping her heel against the ground. You are a police officer, asked the resident artist. In name only, said Kain. As a rookie, they don't trust me to do any real police work. My area of expertise is speeding violations and the DARE program. I am also an errand boy. I do all the donut and coffee runs, and if there's a specific pastry that my colleagues want, I bake it for them. Whenever the janitor goes on vacation, I am the one who cleans the latrines. What is DARE? Asked Eugenia, curious. It is a program designed to teach children not to do drugs, and statistics show that it hasn't helped reduce the illicit drug use, said Kain. I blame its failure on the fact that it uses police officers instead of recovering addicts. Addicts can give children a personal account of how drugs ruin their lives, and I think it will work much better than relying on cheap fear tactics. I take it you're an expert in addiction? Asked Santiago sarcastically. Yes, said Kain dryly. My mother died of an overdose, and my father's a recovering addict. My father has been clean for almost a decade, and we are really proud of him. An hour's silence soon followed, and none of the recreational users liked being reminded of their final destination. Kain returned to his graffiti work, and he punctuated the letters with a dot of Morse code that meant, "It's a mistake." When he finished his graffiti, Kain dragged Eugenia away from her judgmental friends under the excuse of seeing the rest of the studio. The second floor had a hallway lit by scorches that emitted an ominous red glow. There was a jukebox playing Haddon by Sarah Bridgman, and Kain set the camera to record on top of the jukebox, and he took Eugenia's hand to entice her to dance. The dance floor was a secret space that no outsider could invade, and the couple stopping drew the attention of the other partygoers, and since the two looked so enthusiastic, more couples formed to join the dance-off. The only person not dancing was Santiago, and he was comparing himself to Kain. Kain danced well for a gringo, and to sabotage Kain, Santiago played a Spanish song, and the song was Ria y Llora by Celia Cruz. And not only could Kain dance to it, but he also knew the lyrics by heart, and this was one of Carina's favorite songs. When Kain was in high school, Carina had taught him how to dance, and when dancing with Eugenia, Kain began to reminisce about his first year in high school. He went to all the parties on a daily basis, and Carina was always there as his willing dance partner. And the two best friends were practically inseparable, and Kain had never expressed the love he felt for his friend. Carina was in a committed relationship with her childhood sweetheart Malik, and by then Kain felt that absolutely nothing could tear that perfect couple apart. Enjoy while it lasts, thought Kain. Every woman you ever dated has left you, and your own mother didn't love you, and Carina dumped you after sleeping with you once, and Eugenia is going to leave you as well because her friends hate you. It is easier for her to replace you than to replace her chorus of bootlickers. Kain snapped out of it when he saw Santiago looking at the photos saved in his camera, and Santiago said giggling, "Don't worry, I'm not deleting anything. Expensive camera, by the way. Did Eugenia buy it for you?" "My father gave the camera to me," said Kain. "Must be nice to have a rich rock star for a father," retorted Santiago, returning the camera. "What little money my father made in his short career, he snorted it away," said Kain dryly. "The rest my mother spent it on expensive dresses that didn't fit her. Nobody is rich in my household." "Ah, now I see your angle," said Santiago, laughing. "You are Eugenia's newest concubine, and she has a thing for poor pretty boys like you and me. She dangles a wad of cash in front of you, and then you have no other choice but to do everything she wants in the bedchamber." "I am not my father, Santiago," hissed Eugenia, visibly enraged. "Let's go home, Eugenia," said Kain, finding the perfect excuse to leave the party. And he placed his arms around her shoulders, trying to gently guide her away from the situation. Whenever there was an awkward situation, Kain's first instinct was to run away from the problem. "I'm not done talking to this meathead," yelled Eugenia, growing more hysterical by the second. "Is that what you think of me, you thankless bastard, after everything I've done for you?" She shook off Kain's hands to go yell at Santiago while poking at his chest. And Santiago was as purple as a grape, so he was speaking all of his unfiltered thoughts. And tomorrow he probably wasn't going to remember what he said. Eugenia, on the other hand, was still sober enough to remember and to hold a grudge. Eugenia ended her tantrum by throwing one of her shoes at Santiago before leaving in a huff. Kain meekly picked up the fallen shoe before following a furious Eugenia. Eugenia summoned the label driver, and the driver manifested. The two rode back in silence. Kain took Eugenia's feet and they made an imagine that Kain wanted to make, so she kissed him to illustrate that she wasn't in the mood. Her fury subsided when she saw the weepy look on her boyfriend's face, and she allowed Kain to take her feet, and she felt guilty when she realized that all that Kain wanted to do was put her shoe back on. "Can you drop me off at my house?" said Kain to the driver. "As you wish, Master Kain," said the driver, changing direction. No way, Roland. We shouldn't let Santiago ruin our night." "I want to go home, Eugenia," insisted Kain. "Why?" asked Eugenia, confused. "You kicked me, that's why," hissed Kain. "I'm sorry, it was a reflex, a self-defense mechanism," said Eugenia. "I thought that you were trying to open my legs and I wasn't in the mood, and you had no idea how often I had to defend myself from guys who tried to get fresh with me." "So now, because of your past, I must pay for the sins of another," said Kain, closing his fist. "Please understand me, Kain," said Eugenia, placing her hand over her heart. "Men have always tried to hurt me, and you're the first man who has ever treated me like a person. I'm just not used to it yet, and can you blame me for being on guard all the time? I promise I won't ever do it again. When I was small, my mother struck me once, and she too promised she was never going to do it again. The second time she laid a finger at me, I woke up in the hospital, and during the divorce proceedings, my mother blamed her parents for her abusive behavior. I had never made you pay for your mother's sins," said Kain wearily. "No, I had never made you pay for my mother's sins," said Kain wearily. Eugenia grew somber, and there was nothing she could say to counter that argument, and this was the first time Kain had ever spoken so openly about his parents, and Eugenia felt now that she understood Kain a little better. He was just as damaged as she was, And Eugenia's father, Michael, hadn't physically hurt her, but he had neglected her. And when his first wife died in a car accident, Michael spiraled out of control, and he was far too busy drinking away his woes to be a father to Eugenia. Eugenia remembered spending more time with her stepmother than with her own father. Kain arrived to his house an hour before midnight, and when he opened the door, he frowned when he saw that his father was having a loud party. And one of Jack's old band members was visiting South Florida, and what started as a little get-together had turned into a boisterous party, and there was more than 50 people drinking and dancing and partying. And Jack had hoped to clean up everything before his son arrived, and he was expecting for Kain to spend the night with Eugenia. And Kain entered within, but nobody recognized him as the owner of the house because he was covered in paint. Kain went to his bedroom, and when he frowned when he saw a couple mating inside his bed. Kain hissed, "You are in my bed." "Kain, I'm sorry," said Ayora, coming out of his bed with his wife Fatima. "Jack told us, Kaz, what happened to you?" "I had a bad night and I'm not in the mood to go into details. If you can put the dirty bed covers in the laundry room, I would really appreciate it. I do not want to sleep surrounded by a stranger's body fluids." Ayora jumped out of the bed and Fatima hid inside the bedsheets to finish getting dressed, and Kain entered the bathroom to take a long, relaxing shower. Ayora took the dirty bed covers to the laundry room, and Fatima looked through the drawers till she found fresh linen. The bed was already made by the time Kain finished removing the paint from his hair and body. He left the bathroom completely in the nude, and Fatima smiled gleefully, quite happy to have lingered longer than she should have, and giggly she returned to her husband to rant about Kain's beautiful body. The party continued for a couple of more hours, and Kain had locked the door to keep out unwanted intruders. And around 3 a.m., the guests finally started going home, and the last person to depart was Jack's former bandmate, Salazar. And he was vacationing in South Florida with his wife and children when he suddenly got the urge to see Jack. And the two spent the rest of the night talking about old times while cleaning out the mess that the guests had created. "I saw your son in the cover of Ocean Drive magazine. His new girlfriend is hot," said Salazar. "She's even hotter in the flesh," said Jack, gushing about Eugenia. "And she's filthy rich too. My son hit the jackpot." "He better knock her out before she gets bored of him," suggested Salazar. Nonsense, Salazar. Kain is my son, and there's no way that Eugenia could ever get bored of him," said Jack, pointing at his chest. "If you say so," said Salazar, deciding not to argue. Kain looked nothing like his father, and he resembled more his grandpa Raphael when he was younger. The next day, Kain awoke at the crack of dawn, and it was Saturday, and he had nothing better to do with his time on this world. And he looked at his cell phone, and he found when he noticed that Eugenia hadn't left any messages. And instead of getting out of bed, he closed his eyes to continue sleeping. Around noon, his father entered the room with brunch. Kain sat up in order to eat his breakfast in bed. Jack had made his son chicken nuggets and french fries. "I am sorry about the party, son," said Jack meekly. "Don't worry about it, Dad. As long as nothing is broken or stolen, you can have as many parties as you want in our house." "How did things with Eugenia go?" asked Jack. "You came home completely covered in paint. What happened to you?" Alright, so that's the end of that chapter. Bye-bye, God bless.